Hey, and welcome to the Political Show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I'm your girl Cynthia, and now you can call me Gix. And with me in studio we have
Gavin Inslin,
Pastor Gavin Inslin, and
The Black Knight.
the Black Knight, right here on the Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot Politics.
hot politics. And this week's hot politics, we are doing a reaction show. Right, we are going to be listening to a TikTok, a live. It was live at when he originally released it, by the Remnant Rising 3. And
Which is a channel on TikTok.
Yes, it's a channel on
So
TikTok.
the Chinese are watching him.
Yes. And yeah, Pascal, do you want to give a more brief explanation to why we are reacting to this?
Well, we're actually not just reacting to the video, we're also reacting to the CRL Commission. We have spoken about that some time ago. And what's happened now is under the CRL Act, there's a part of that legislation called Section 22. So the CRL this week, on the 2nd of October, launched a what they call a Section 22 committee type thing. And they've launched it at a church.
Dum, dum, dum.
So what's happening now is similar, and I'm going to say it straight out, similar to what happened with COVID. The large churches are acting like they can speak for all the other churches, even though something like 80% of Christians in South Africa go to churches that are 100 people or less. So they actually don't have a right to speak on behalf of all of those pastors, yet they are going to. And they're actually enabling this legislation, because without the support of the church, they would not be able to enable this legislation. This was something that we never really considered when we did our last episode on the CRL Commission. And the lady's name is Klavula, and all the things that she's been saying. And she's been saying like hectic things, things like if your pastor says he has from God and he needs psychiatric help, and all sorts of things like that. But at the end of the day, don't move the bones of a mother in her mother's grave, because now she goes to the grave to speak to her mother, and her mother's not there, and then she wonders why the mother doesn't answer, her please, you understand. So the ancestors, hey, that's cool, but at the end of the day, the pastor mustn't say heard from God, and this is the kind of person that's actually running this commission. And just to state up front, at the moment in South Africa, there's the Matlanga Commission, which is looking into accusations of General Mkonazi, which we've spoken about him before. He came out, was it in July, early July, when he did a press conference one Sunday afternoon exposing, and it's not corruption, it's evil. The rampant evil, rampant lawlessness, and rampant disregard for the law that's going on in the Saving Police Services. Yeah. And it goes up into political spheres. I mean, even Parliament is doing nothing about all of this stuff. Our roads are falling apart here in Johannesburg, Really, the politicians are doing a terrible job. They're actually doing a horrendous job. They're actually messing everything up. And now these same politicians now want to regulate the church. And, there's an organization that's been formed called the Saving Church Defenders, led by Pastor Mukuba in Soweto. As she says, if something's not broken, why fix it? So This broadcast was done on TikTok by, what's it, Remnant?
The Remnant Rising.
The Remnant Rising 3.
Yes, 3, yes.
The Remnant Rising 3. I'd love to have seen 1 and 2. But anyway, the Remnant Rising 3. And this guy, we don't know his name, but he's responding to, the launch of the Section 22 committee.
Yes. That is what we're going to be speaking about. It's going to be interesting, as always, right here on the Political Show, where Christ politics is
hot politics.
Hot politics.
This is the Political Show.
I will be playing the video from this particular channel, and we are going to be reacting to it live. Yeah, so I'm going to play that now.
I am highly upset. Rhema Church and Pastor Joshua. And this live is going about that. And for those that are on TikTok, those that have just joined me for a live on Facebook, This live is going on my disgrace for the Rhema Church and Pastor Joshua, who is now the leader of the Rhema Church in Randburg. And this is all about the CRL committee that's launching. Listen what I'm saying. It's launching, and I got it from one of my political friends. He sent me the message to say that the CRL committee, the woman that said that no one speaks to God, they are launching the CRL committee in Rhema Church. So I'm just waiting for some people to come on so that I can tell you exactly what's going on here. And then I'm going to show you on Facebook, TikTok, I'm going to get the video on there as well, where Hitler actually used the same tactic as what the ANC government now is using. They are using the church.
Just pause there.
To fight.
Now, I just want to correct him there. It's not specifically the ANC government. The DA is a party to this. The Patriotic Alliance, they're part of the GNU. They're a party to this. The Freedom Front, they're a party to this. Who else is in, all the parties that are in the government of the nation. This is not an ANC only thing. It was late last year that Cyril Ramaphosa reappointed this lady to be the head of that commission when she was defeated before in Parliament. When Parliament said they don't want, this commission to regulate the church. And the thing is, they're not going. There's no plans for them to regulate Muslims or your sangomas, the traditional healers and all of that sort of stuff. So I just want to say this is not specifically an ANC thing.
To fight the church. So they're launching the CRL in Rhema, in Randburg. And why are they doing that? They are doing that because they're using one of the biggest churches in South Africa to get credibility behind them of what they are doing is correct. So I want you to please, while I'm doing this live, I want you to share this live far and wide. If you've got pastor friends or Christian friends, I am planning on being at Rhema. They're launching it on the 2nd of October. So I will be at Rhema doing a live because I just think this is utterly disgusting that one of the biggest churches in South Africa is backing this, where the government wants to regulate the Church of Jesus Christ, where the government wants to come in and tell you what you are allowed to preach and censor you on what you are saying. Guys, this is the beginning of trouble and tribulation for the church. So if you don't heed my call this morning, and if you don't heed this live, because I think this is one of the most important lives I've made. I have made a live on this before, and I'm telling you this morning that this is one of the most important lives I've ever made. Okay, so guys, be careful. The government is using the same tactic as what Hitler used. He's using the church to fight against the church. They are using the church's credibility against itself. All right, so because they are launching it in Rhema, in Randburg, on the 2nd, I think the 2nd is Wednesday. Where are we now? Tuesday, Thursday, I think it is. So I will be at Rhema on Thursday, the 2nd of October. But I just want to show my utter disgust at Rhema Church. And Rhema can do whatever they like this morning. I know they might even come after me. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I studied at Rhema. All right. I was at Rhema Bible College when I was a youngster. But I am utterly, 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 utterly disgusted in the fact that Rhema has given their church to the government to launch the CRL committee. Okay, and if you don't know what the CRL committee is, the CRL committee is the committee that wants to regulate the church. They want to regulate, Pastor, what you preach. They want to regulate. They want you to register on a register, and then they want to give you a license to preach. So you can go to Bible school. You can have a calling on your.
I want you to understand how bad what he's saying is.
Yeah.
Because number one, so now they give you a license. We've just been through the process in terms of being able to train someone and give them a recognized qualification. Now, so if they're going to license a preacher, they're then going to add in what they call occupational health and safety and check, which is where they come and they look at your building. And if you don't have an OHS certificate, for the church, then you're going to fail. You won't be able to get the license. They're going to add all sorts of other bylaws from the council and all sorts of other rules and regulations that a pastor is going to have to comply with in order to be able, to preach. These things cost a lot of money. And so, a church like Rhema, no offense, they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're opening their church up to this, I'm not okay with it. I'm going to be honest, I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
Because who's going to get hammered by this? It's the poor.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The smaller churches that, we have churches that meet in the rural areas or the townships and stuff like that, where we know that their buildings are not going to they're not going to pass the OHS requirements. Not that they're not looking after the building, just that the requirements.
Well, if they're in a place
OHS,
where there's no running water,
yeah,
you can't pass OHS. And how many places are there where people are meeting in places where there's no running water? All right, because one of the things is, in order to get the OHS certificate, you've got to cater for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And they actually do inspections on your buildings. Now, this is just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, the regulation and the censorship of the sermons is not even the biggest problem. With all of his other regulations, they're going to force churches not to go out. And it's even worse, Gigs and Black Knight. If you're a cell leader in a church, they're going to say you can't do that unless you're registered and licensed to lead a cell group.
And like that's where it also now becomes complicated, because people run cell groups, other people call it connect groups, and all of these life groups and stuff. Groups. But they run it in their homes. Now, how do you regulate that? How do you say, okay, because I'm going to have
well, now you must have an OHS certificate on your home.
Jensen, and I must have the ambulance outside. And
well, the ambulance is only for a crowd bigger than a certain amount. But the reality is, they're also going to introduce, you need a qualification.
Yeah.
A certain level qualification. And they're going to say what the qualification is. And these big churches themselves will find themselves somewhere along the line coming a crop. But they'll work with them at first to get control. Once they've got control, then things will change. It's the same as what happened with the Marriage Act, with the Civil Unions Act to legalize gay marriage. And now they've got a singular, all right? And now we're moving towards a thing where if a marriage officer refuses to do a gay wedding, there could be legal action against them. We're moving into that world.
Yeah.
My question is that with churches without buildings, what happens to them?
Well, how do they pass? The issue is they're going to have...
Are they going to stop those churches to not meet?
What I'm saying is...
a group of people just standing outside and...
Yeah, what I'm saying is, in terms of that, if you've got this thing of requirements and you're not licensed to preach, what this lady Kavula of the CRL Commission, the chair of the CRL Commission, is saying, you'll be arrested.
Yeah, because that's where my question was. Okay, my question was going to this. Like, that's where I didn't even mention. My question was going to this, because now we are now no more following the, if I can say, the rules. I'll probably, because of lack of words, I'll just use rules and ethics of Jesus Christ himself, or our Bible itself, because that's where our religion is founded. And now if we're following stuff that's not from the Bible, because I believe even Muslims say they do a lot of things according to their Quran and stuff, and when we do things according to our Bible, we don't need certificates for this. We don't.
No.
Buildings are not our essential thing. The preaching of the word is the essential thing. In fact, Jesus told us to go out and speak out the words. But now this obviously is now stopping us from doing that. Then where is Christianity? Because what is Christianity without us going out to speak about Jesus, or having the opportunity with or without a license to speak? Because Jesus already gave us the license, the ultimate license.
Matthew 28,
Once you accept him, yes, once you accept him, he gave us the license to do that. So that is the biggest problem that they're not looking at. They actually breaking apart our religion and leaving the others just like that. So that is my problem.
Yeah.
Have a calling on your life, you can do nothing unless the government tells you you can do it. Okay, so be careful and be warned, guys. You are not listening to what I'm saying. The church is silent on the matter. They are not listening. And you know what, this is frustrating me, because the church,
he needs to I need to find out who this guy is.
Yeah.
There's an organization that's been formed out of this called the Savian Church Defenders. And there's a march next week on the 8th of March, 8th of October, about the CRL Commission. Yeah.
church is going down the same route as it did in the Second World War. They are going down the same path in South Africa. And if they start persecuting for what you're preaching, if they start locking you up because you are having open airs on the corners and you are preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, they already said, if you don't have a license to do it, they are going to lock you up. All right? So
Freedom of speech is gone right there.
There's probably a lot of naysayers out there say this is a good thing and it should have happened a long time ago, and it's why is the enemy doing this? The devil is using the church against itself. And how can the enemy use the church against itself? Well, it's very easy. When these leaders are not sitting at the foot of Jesus Christ and hearing what he says, their King of Kings and Lord of Lords, then they will open themselves up so that they can be used by the enemy. So don't believe everything you hear from churches, guys. I'm giving you this firsthand this morning, and I'm doing it early because I want this message to go far and wide. All right, don't, I'm telling you again, don't ignore this message. Like I said, on Facebook, I'm going to play a video and I'm going to show you what Hitler did to the church in Germany. And it's exactly what the government in South Africa is doing. So guys, we need to unite. Pastors, we need to get together. We need to unite. The remnant needs to rise up. Those that are really sitting at the foot of Jesus Christ need to rise up and say, I am not going to participate. So what is the solution to this? The solution is non-compliance, guys. Don't go and register. They can launch it, they can do whatever they like, but do not register yourself. Because the minute the first guy registers himself with a CRL, you are giving them the mandate to come after the church. So I am earnestly warning you. We don't have a lot of time. There's 2 days when the launch is taking place. I don't know what they've planned at Rhema. I don't know what they've planned around the launch of this whole thing. I don't know how many pastors are going to be there, how many people in the ministry is going to be there that are going to register on the CRL. I'm telling you, I'm warning you as a prophet. I don't call myself a prophet, but I can see what's happening, guys. History teaches us what to look out for. And I'm telling you, this is a dangerous, dangerous slope that the church is moving into. And I'm warning Rhema as well. Rhema, you are moving into dangerous territory. You want to be the hero. You want to be in the good books of the government. I'm telling you now that you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for a hiding, not from man, but from God. Because the church belongs to Jesus Christ. Yes, I agree. There are a lot of charlatans in ministry today. There are a lot of guys that shouldn't even be in the ministry. But that's the church's responsibility to get rid of those guys and move them.
Yeah. the issue is people have the right to leave,
Yeah.
and if the pastor goes too far off, that's often what will happen.
Yeah.
That people, they speak with their voices are spoken with their feet when they leave. But you know, it's not the Apostle Paul even said, you know, it's not for me to judge someone else because the Lord is their master. If they're not under my authority, it's not for me to judge. The Lord is their master, and they will face Him. So why is a government which has done very evil things, and I'm talking about the laws that have been passed, that has passed things like abortion, that is resulting in the murder of untold millions of people. Now this government wants to come down and regulate the church, and that's what Satan always does. It's his tactic, and that's why he mentions Hitler, and we spoke about Hitler recently.
Yeah.
And the DA is on board with this. I can promise you that right now.
Yeah.
Now, it's because the church has been passive that the government now feels it's their responsibility. And I'm not going to speak long. I'm going to keep this video as short as possible because I want the message to go out. So you guys on TikTok listening to me, I'm going to go now. But I'll please share this video. It's a warning, guys. If I've ever seen red flags and red lights in the spirit realm, it's now. You need to listen because the government is going to target other big churches to join this move. And then we have no foot to stand on. All right? Because they have already got the biggest church backing them. So be careful. Be careful. Don't listen to these guys. They are giving you doctrines of demons. Remember that the chairman of the CRL, I forgot her name now, I can't even pronounce her name, but she's the one that said that if anybody tells you that he's speaking to God, he needs to be in a psychiatric ward. So everybody listening to me now, every pastor, every Christian that professes to be a true child of God, if they want to put you in psychiatric wards. Okay, they're saying that you are crazy, that no one speaks to God. And then you want to follow these guys. You want to be compliant because now I know a lot of the pastors and guys in ministry are going to say, but the word says pray for your leaders and be obedient to your leaders. You don't be. Are you going to be obedient to a leader that wants to take you directly to hell or put you in prison? You have the right and you have the place now to resist. If you don't resist now, you are opening you up for a time of misery that's coming for the church. I'm warning you. We don't have to take this. We don't have to. We still got our freedom. We've still got our freedom of speech. We've still got our rights in this country according to the Constitution. But through this thing, they want to take our rights away, guys. So be very careful of what you are doing. I'm going to say goodbye to the guys on
I think we can stop it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think what he said at the end, I mean, if you look in the Bible with the Apostle Paul, when they tried to get him to stop preaching the gospel, he literally said, should he listen to them or should he listen to God?
Yes.
And he continued to preach the gospel. And what's this? I think that is something that we need to look at as the church as well. What happened in the church in Acts? When the government of the time tried to regulate them, they continued preaching. They went even more, full force in terms of preaching the gospel and stuff. Yeah. So I really think I agree with him. It's very dangerous in terms of what's happening. The fact that the government can comfortably go to a big church and say that we are going to launch the thing that is going to regulate the churches in a church, and they're not going to go against us, or they're not going to speak against it and stuff. Now I wasn't there, and stuff like that. But my whole thing is the fact that they're comfortable enough to say that we are going to book out this church so that we can invite people to register and hear what we are going to say, and all of these things is a big problem.
Yeah, the thing is that one of the things that Pastor Makuba is saying is that some churches think they're going to be able to make money out of this
Yeah.
because they're going to register the pastors, and then you're going to have to pay them money to register.
Mm.
But what he's saying is, and I agree with him, Pastor Makuba is saying the same, and I'm also saying it, is that they're creating a whip for their own backs.
Yeah.
And this is aimed, and it's a strategic tactic of the enemy. This is aimed at stunting the growth of the church.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard many politicians, even from the Democratic Alliance, say that there's a problem in Johannesburg in that there's a church on every corner.
Mm. Yeah. Blackman, what are your final thoughts?
I think basic with what he just said about leaders or pastors following the government because of that line from Romans 13, if I'm not mistaken, is that everything, especially if you at a level of a pastor, I think you should be able to look at the Bible in a context point of view, meaning that you don't just look at one verse as a pastor. I believe that I believe even spiritually, I don't even think it's a matter of certificate. I think even spiritually, when you get to those points, you'll be able, the Holy Spirit will enable you to be able to contextualize the Bible itself. That you won't be able to, or not able, but you won't find yourself mixing up things or saying that the Bible is contradicting you or stuff like that, because hence why the Bible has lasted this long. So for me, you should look at things in context. So with what Giggs mentioned in the book of Acts, where you see Peter and them doing that, and then yes, Paul does say that we should follow our leaders, but I think there's a context behind that.
Big time.
The context we're also looking at, I believe Paul did this because even though there is a whole argument about the Hebrew book, but you find the writer of Hebrews that but the people who wrote the scriptures actually did take the Old Testament into context or into consideration as they're writing stuff. So I think Paul would consider the whole Daniel factor and stuff like that while he's writing that verse in Romans. So if you find a leader like Daniel who did follow what the leader would say at his time, but when it came to God, even Daniel himself would say no. So much so that he'll be allowed to be thrown in the furnace. That is Daniel, right?
The lion.
Or Daniel is the lion. Yes. So he'd be
Yeah, it was
willing.
his friends that were thrown in the furnace.
Oh yes.
Shadrach, Meshach, and
Shadrach,
Abednego.
yes. They'd be willing to be thrown in the furnace, and he was also willing to be thrown in the lion's den because it was just going against God. And we can go into Acts when they wanted to go against the whole thing with Paul. It's Paul, right? Or not Jesus, when the guys who said, when the Pharisees got together and one of them said, if it's God planned, this thing will succeed. If it's not,
Yeah, it was with Peter and John.
it was with Peter and John.
Yeah.
But you see,
But if it's God, you won't stop it.
yeah, so that is, I think that is my point. I think I've just made the point, yeah.
Yeah. And in Matthew chapter 28, I'm going to read from the Message translation, so it's going to sound a bit different. Matthew chapter 28, verse 18 to 20, it says, Jesus, undeterred, went right ahead and gave his charge. God authorized and commanded me to commission you. Go out and train everyone you meet, far and near, in this way of life, marking them by baptism in the threefold name, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Then instruct them in the practice of all I have commanded you. I'll be with you as you do this, day after day after day, right up to the end of this age.
Yeah, that's very, very important. Jesus made a statement, and these churches that are going along with it need to remember, Jesus says, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples. And as I said, the Apostle Paul actually said, someone else who's serving the Lord, you're not their master. The Lord is their master. And they will stand before the Lord. And so, you're doing things and you're claiming that, that you want to stop abuse and stuff like that. But the thing is, let's take where the abusers are. What can the abusers be? It can be fraud. So it can be fraud. It can be rape. It can be child abuse. It could be money laundering and all of these sorts of things. And the reality is, there are already laws that are on the books. and the police need to do their job.
Yeah.
And this whole thing now where they need to encroach on other people's freedom, which is actually a freedom that is enshrined in the South African Constitution, number one, they're actually not even acting in accordance with the law of this land of South Africa. And the politicians and the pastors that are involving themselves in this are actually breaking the law, number one. Number two, the Lord Jesus Christ has given us the mandate. So even if preaching went against the law of the land, as what has happened in countries like Iran, in China, etc., 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 North Korea, the fact of the matter is the government does not have authority over Jesus. Jesus has authority over the government. And he has commissioned us. The only question for us is, are we willing to preach the gospel if it's going to cost us our lives? So I'll leave you with that.
That is a very important question. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been an amazing show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you know you can call me Gix. And with me in studio we've had
Gavin Instant.
Pastor Gavin Inslin and
The Black
the
Knight.
Black Knight, right here on the Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot politics.
hot politics.
Okay, so we start the next